Have you ever felt as though life resembles a labyrinth of relationships, an endless journey filled with twists and turns? You might have questioned whether the people around you are truly there for you or merely taking advantage of your kindness. I felt that uncertainty myself, the kind that creeps in when you start to question the sincerity of connections you thought were genuine. It's like standing at a crossroad, unsure which path leads to bonds that uplift, inspire, and bring out the best in you. But let me reassure you, you're far from alone in this search. Today we'll dive into the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has become my foundation for decoding the subtle cues that someone may be exploiting you. This isn't about quick fixes or generic advice. It's a journey toward deeper insights you can relate to, learn from, and bring into your life. We'll explore real solutions, ones that help you look beyond appearances and navigate relationships with a clearer sense of purpose and self-respect. Let's begin this exploration of human behavior, emotions, and Stoic insight together. Number 1. Recognizing true worth in a world of critics. Picture this: you've achieved something meaningful, something that demanded time, focus, and no small amount of effort. You share this success with someone close, expecting even a modest gesture of acknowledgement, a smile, a well done, maybe even a small celebration. Instead, you're greeted with a detached "is that it?" or worse yet, with sarcasm that cuts into your pride. These responses may seem trivial, but they serve a deeper purpose. They're tools of subtle manipulation meant to chip away at your confidence, leaving you questioning your own value. These remarks aren't accidental, they're part of a psychological game aimed at making you feel small so that the other person can momentarily feel bigger. Enter Stoicism. In times like these, Stoic philosophy becomes a powerful ally, reminding us to center our attention on what we truly control: our thoughts, our responses, our sense of self-worth. When someone tries to diminish our achievements or dreams, Stoicism invites us to recognize this as an opportunity to reflect. These words, however cutting, say much more about the speaker's insecurities than they do about the validity of your accomplishments. The Stoic understands that the power to define one's worth lies not in others' perceptions or remarks, but in one's inner resolve and self-assessment. Instead of internalizing those negative words, consider the source and intent. Often such comments stem from unspoken frustrations or a desire to project insecurity onto others. As we strengthen our resilience through Stoic practice, we become adept at discerning genuine support from envy, truth from pretense. This perspective grants us the freedom to acknowledge our achievements and dreams without the weight of external judgments. So the next time you face criticism, remember these attempts to undermine are not about you. They're about the limitations of the other person. With Stoicism as your guide, learn to see these moments as fleeting shadows against the unwavering light of your own accomplishments. Number 2. Action speaks louder: the Stoic path beyond empty promises. We've all encountered them, the gifted speakers who can weave words into powerful promises, pledging change, loyalty, or transformation. Their words carry weight, painting visions of futures that, for a moment, seem real and achievable. Yet, when it's time to act, they fade into silence, leaving behind broken assurances and the lingering emptiness of unfulfilled promises. Stoicism, however, cautions us against placing faith solely in words. It teaches us that talk, however persuasive, is never a substitute for genuine commitment. Actions are the real test of character. They reveal the true essence of a person's values, intentions, and dedication. When promises remain unkept, they become what the Stoics might call empty currency, easily spent yet with no intrinsic value. It's a reminder to look beyond the charm of speech and search for evidence of consistency in what someone does, not just what they say. This isn't to say that promises have no place in our lives. They do, but only when they're backed by meaningful action. Stoicism encourages us to see through the allure of grand statements, redirecting our attention to tangible deeds. To the Stoic, a person's true character is revealed not in the breadth of their words, but in the steady, reliable actions they choose to take each day. When we understand this, our relationships with others and with ourselves take on a new clarity. We begin to trust those who consistently show up, who align their actions with their words. And we hold ourselves to the same standard, valuing quiet action over boastful declarations. In the end, Stoicism suggests that a fulfilled promise, however small, is worth infinitely more than 1,000 words left unrealized. Number 3. The balance of mutual respect in relationships. Picture yourself as the constant giver in a relationship. You provide support, spend time, offer a listening ear, and make sacrifices. Yet, when the moment arrives where you seek assistance, you're met with silence, indifference, or even excuses. This one-sided dynamic is a clear signal that your value is being overlooked. In Stoicism, relationships thrive on two pillars: respect and balance. Respect is not just about politeness or consideration, but an acknowledgement of each other's inherent worth. Balance is the invisible scale that ensures the needs and efforts of each person are valued and reciprocated. When either of these elements is missing, the relationship suffers, becoming a source of tension rather than mutual growth. What does it mean to truly respect yourself within a relationship? Stoicism advises us to remember that our worth does not hinge on how much we give or how readily we are there for others. Instead, our value rests in our ability to recognize our own needs and, crucially, to set boundaries. Boundaries aren't barriers to shut others out, they're necessary guidelines that protect our self-respect and prevent us from being drained by those who may not fully appreciate our contributions. By daring to set these boundaries, we assert that our time, energy, and emotional resources are worthy of reciprocity. In embracing this Stoic approach, we shift the focus from trying to please or accommodate others at the expense of our well-being. Instead, we place our worth at the forefront, making room for connections that respect and value us. This rebalancing not only preserves our inner peace, but also opens the door to healthier, more fulfilling relationships where respect and support flow in both directions. Epictetus wisely remarked, "I am not concerned with what happens, but how I react to it." This principle holds the key to Stoic resilience, a strength that emerges not from external wealth or status, but from within, rooted in our capacity to respond to life's unpredictability with a steady hand. Financial adversity is one such unpredictable challenge that nearly everyone will encounter. When facing economic downturns, unexpected expenses, or unstable markets, our response, not the circumstances themselves, determines whether we succumb to stress or rise above it. Imagine the stock market takes a nosedive or an unexpected expense erodes your savings. Fear, anxiety, even panic can quickly become consuming responses. Yet, Stoicism encourages a radically different approach. To prioritize calm, rational responses over impulsive emotional reactions. Financial fluctuations are beyond our control, but how we prepare and react remains firmly within our grasp. Rather than allowing each twist and turn in the financial world to dominate our peace of mind, we can invest our energies in measures that promote stability, like building emergency funds, making conservative financial plans, and focusing on long-term growth over short-term gains. In practice, this mindset leads to more than financial security, it builds psychological resilience. A Stoic attitude toward money and possessions cultivates a sense of calm even amid market chaos, because one's peace no longer hinges on uncontrollable circumstances. Market crashes or economic recessions may strain resources, But they don't need to strain the soul. By focusing on what we can control, our preparation and response, we free ourselves from undue anxiety and emotional turbulence. This shift brings about a grounded approach to finances that's both rational and resilient. Financial security often feels elusive because we attach our peace of mind to things we cannot control. But by focusing on our reactions, we take back that power. For instance, having an emergency fund can mean that you're not at the mercy of every market shift. Living within your means provides a buffer against future adversity, allowing you to meet challenges with level-headed calm. Ultimately, this Stoic approach to financial management enables us to find stability and peace, even when the economy is anything but stable. Rather than allowing finances to control us, we control our approach to finances. Epictetus' wisdom is a reminder that true wealth lies in internal strength, the kind that does not waver with market changes. It's about fostering a mindset that sees financial obstacles not as threats but as opportunities to cultivate resilience, flexibility, and self-mastery. And when we learn to respond to financial adversity with this steady, balanced approach, we not only safeguard our finances but, more importantly, our well-being. Number 4. Claiming your story, stepping out of the shadows. Every time you speak, there's an invisible barrier between your words and their ears. No matter how carefully you choose your words or how deeply you express yourself, it's as if you're invisible, an ornament in the room rather than a presence with thoughts and emotions. This isn't just neglect on their part, it's a quiet, calculated effort to diminish your voice, a subtle way of placing you under their influence and relegating you to the background. Breaking free of this unseen grip begins with a bold, inward step. Listen to the whisper of your inner voice. This voice, often buried under the noise of others' expectations, holds a simple truth, a quiet but potent warning saying, "This isn't right." Too often we dismiss this instinct, allowing ourselves to stay cast in a supporting role in the lives of others. But consider this: what if you're meant to do more than just play a part in someone else's story? What if you were meant to write your own? Embracing that whisper of discomfort is the first step in rewriting your role. Trust that inner voice, it doesn't lie. It knows that you are more than an extra on someone else's stage. You're here to craft your own narrative, a story rich with your unique perspectives, decisions, and growth. In every interaction, in every relationship, this choice lies before you. Will you allow yourself to remain in the periphery, accommodating others' needs while neglecting your own? Or will you step forward, redefining the narrative? By acknowledging and embracing your own voice, you step into the role of the protagonist in your own life, a role that no one else can or should define for you. The path to self-assertion isn't always easy, but it's essential for a life that feels whole, honest, unapologetically yours. Take the stage, claim your story, and give yourself permission to no longer stand in the shadows. Number 5. Defending against emotional manipulation. In moments when your confidence begins to waver, not due to any inner shift, but because of someone else's influence, it's essential to recognize the signs of emotional manipulation. Manipulators are masters of disguise. They often pose as friends, trusted colleagues, or even mentors, skillfully working their way past your defenses. Their impact is rarely immediate. It's a slow, subtle erosion of your self-worth. You find yourself doubting decisions you once felt confident about, questioning your own values, and even feeling indebted for their helpful advice. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are more than just invisible lines in relationships. They're the essential mental structures that preserve our inner strength and peace. For the Stoic, a boundary is not just a passive resistance, but an active, protective measure. These boundaries prevent others from seeping into our minds and influencing how we perceive ourselves and the world. In a way, they are like mental shields guarding the core of who we are. To maintain these boundaries, Stoicism encourages us to stand up for our values. This doesn't mean confrontation for the sake of it, but speaking up to uphold our principles and assert our worth. It's about asking yourself, is this person's influence consistent with the life I am choosing to lead? Challenge behaviors that seem to undermine your integrity or self-esteem. In this practice, you're not just defending against manipulation, you're reinforcing your own resilience. This approach isn't easy. Manipulators rely on subtlety, not overt aggression. They slip small doubts into your mind, making you question your choices. The Stoic response, however, is to cultivate an awareness that is both sharp and compassionate. Observe the impact others have on your thoughts and emotions without reacting impulsively. By doing so, you reclaim your confidence, guided by principles instead of outside influences. You learn to guard your spirit as carefully as you would protect any other cherished aspect of your life. Number 6. The power of sincere support. At the foundation of every meaningful relationship is a quiet but essential force: genuine support. This is the presence of someone who remains by your side, not just in moments of success, but equally during setbacks and uncertainties. Imagine it as having a steadfast cheerleader who values your journey, not just the destination. Stoicism invites us to examine our relationships with this in mind, encouraging a mindful awareness of those who uplift us versus those who stand by indifferently. This philosophy teaches that genuine support is as essential as a safety net for a tightrope walker. Its absence makes the journey precarious, leaving us exposed and without emotional refuge. When your moments of joy are dismissed or your challenges brushed aside with hollow words, it's more than a mild annoyance, it's a sign worth noticing. Stoicism calls us to respect ourselves enough to distinguish between true allies and fair-weather friends. If someone offers only superficial responses, if their concern is fleeting, or if they deflect your pain rather than truly listening, it's a reminder to assess the depth of that relationship. This evaluation isn't a judgment, but rather a step toward self-respect and personal growth. Stoicism teaches that our connections should bring both joy and resilience. By recognizing and cultivating relationships that are rooted in sincere support, we create a life anchored in trust and authenticity, surrounded by individuals who enrich our journey rather than merely occupying space in it. And in fostering this awareness, we protect our well-being and ensure that the relationships we nurture are meaningful, enduring, and real. Number 7. From competition to connection. In Stoic philosophy, the cornerstone of mental clarity and resilience is focusing on what lies within our control, dismissing anxieties over what does not. This principle is fundamental, yet often overlooked in our hyper-competitive society. When constantly engaged in rivalry, we find ourselves perpetually comparing, measuring, and often exhausting our own sense of worth against others. The relentless chase not only depletes energy but detracts from our true potential for growth and fulfillment. Stoicism nudges us to shift our perspective from competition to collaboration. In doing so, we transition from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Rather than viewing others as benchmarks or obstacles, we begin to see potential partners on a shared journey. This shift allows us to foster connections that emphasize mutual growth, aligned purpose, and common goals. Relationships built on collaboration rather than competition become not only more fulfilling but also a true exercise in Stoic principles. Working together with respect for the natural order, focusing on shared aspirations, and reducing the distractions of ego-driven rivalry. In embracing this cooperative outlook, we are not abandoning ambition. Instead, we're refining it. By valuing collective progress, we harness a powerful synergy that would otherwise be lost in the solitary race for superiority. The Stoic path urges us to prioritize efforts that uplift not just ourselves but those around us, transforming every relationship into a purposeful bond aimed at shared excellence. Would you like more content in this direction? I could expand further on this shift toward cooperation, exploring practical Stoic practices and how they may enrich modern relationships. Number 8. Fair weather friends and the Stoic approach. Some friends only appear when skies are clear, retreating at the first hint of storm. Stoicism offers a timeless perspective on such fair weather friends, reminding us that their actions fall under the category of things beyond our control. While we can't demand they stay through the tempests of life, we hold complete authority over how we perceive and respond to their comings and goings. In Stoicism, understanding the behavior of others as independent from our will is crucial. Epictetus, one of the foundational voices in Stoicism, emphasizes that what truly matters is not the action of others, but how we interpret it. So when a friend disappears during tough times, our natural reaction might be hurt or disappointment. But if we embrace a Stoic mindset, we see that this disappointment arises from expecting them to act differently. And that expectation is something we can consciously let go of. The Stoics teach us to observe behavior without personalizing it. When someone fails to stand by us, it's a reflection of their nature, not our worth. Their absence during challenging times speaks to their values, priorities, or limitations, not to any fault in us. We might feel tempted to seek explanations or to wonder why they act as they do. But the Stoic approach encourages us to release these questions. By focusing on our own reactions, we find freedom from emotional disturbance, grounding ourselves in self-awareness and tranquility. This does not mean becoming indifferent or unfeeling. Instead, it's about directing our energy wisely. Stoicism advocates reserving our emotional investment for things we can control. When we do this, we cultivate resilience and inner peace, unshaken by the actions or inactions of others. We come to see that the presence of fair weather friends can be temporary, but the strength we build from within remains lasting. The Stoic path teaches that, while we may enjoy the company of friends, our well-being does not depend on their loyalty or consistency. In this way, we approach relationships with a sense of appreciation for what they are, without being tethered by expectations of what they should be. This shift not only frees us from disappointment, but encourages a more genuine engagement with those around us. True friends, like virtue itself, are tested in the storm. And as Stoics, we learn to value what's steady and enduring within both ourselves and in our closest bonds. Number 9. Cultivating inner resilience and unshakable self-respect. The Stoic philosophy brings us face to face with a profound understanding of personal worth and dignity, urging us to cultivate a sense of self-respect that remains steady despite external forces. At its core, Stoicism teaches that our value is inherent, unshaken by the actions or judgments of others. We are called to recognize that our worth isn't a reflection of someone else's perspective, but is rooted deeply in our character and choices. This path of inner resilience doesn't ask us to ignore the world around us. Instead, it invites us to engage with it more consciously. Through Stoicism, we learn the importance of defining personal boundaries, not walls to shut others out, but frameworks that preserve our integrity. When we establish these boundaries, we strengthen our ability to stand firm in what we believe, unswayed by the fleeting demands or opinions of others. It's not about resisting change, but about grounding ourselves in values that matter, enabling us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Standing by our values becomes a daily act of respect for ourselves, an unyielding commitment to the principles that define us. In a world where the desires and expectations of others can often cloud our vision, the Stoics encourage us to return to what is essential, our inner compass. By honoring this internal guide, we learn to navigate life with a sense of clarity and purpose, unaffected by external praise or criticism. This resilience, cultivated through intentional practice, allows us to live authentically, free from the need for validation from others. In practicing Stoic principles, we find that true self-respect is not passive. It's active, requiring us to evaluate each situation through the lens of our values and principles. There will be moments of challenge, times when standing up for ourselves may invite conflict or disapproval. But by consistently aligning our actions with our core beliefs, we foster a sense of dignity that is unbreakable. This self-respect isn't rigid but adaptable, built not from an inflated ego, but from a realistic view of what we stand for. As we embrace this perspective, we come to see that a life guided by Stoic resilience and self-respect is a life well lived. It is marked not by external achievements, but by an unwavering commitment to honor ourselves, our values, and our journey. Number 10. The unshakable peace. In a world that constantly pulls us in countless directions, Stoicism offers a reminder: true wealth lies not in what we own or accomplish, but in the peace we cultivate within. This inner calm becomes our most treasured possession, shaping our responses and anchoring us when external storms threaten to throw us off course. The Stoics teach that we are each the protagonist of our own story, with the power to choose the role we play and the perspective we embrace. By anchoring our focus inward, we gain the ability to navigate life's battles with a steady mind and a resilient heart. The world around us, filled with opinions and judgments, is beyond our control, yet within us lies an untouchable space that can remain untouched by external chaos. Imagine the most challenging moments you face. When someone criticizes, belittles, or tries to dim your light, the Stoic response is not to react impulsively, but to remember that peace is a state we choose to guard. No other person or event can rob us of this inner sanctuary unless we allow it. Every insult, every setback, and every injustice is an opportunity to test and strengthen our resolve. It is a chance to stand firm in our values and to hold tightly to our serenity. By nurturing this internal peace, we develop what the Stoics called ataraxia, a state of imperturbable calm that forms the bedrock of resilience. We learn to meet adversity without losing ourselves to it. Rather than being pushed by the winds of praise or criticism, success or failure, we stay rooted in our own values, guided by reason and purpose, rather than momentary emotions. Each encounter becomes an exercise in self-governance, reinforcing the strength that lies in not being moved by external forces, but rather by our own sense of truth and integrity. Our peace then is not passive. It is an active choice to remain composed, a quiet assertion that we will not let the outside world dictate the course of our inner life. Stoic wisdom teaches us that to protect our peace is to honor our own autonomy, keeping our minds untroubled even in times of challenge. It is a stance of mastery over ourselves, our emotions, and by extension, our entire experience of the world. In every moment, we hold the choice to react or to observe, to be swayed by the opinions of others, or to remain undisturbed. As the Stoics have long argued, the way we experience life is far less about what happens to us than how we interpret it. Thus, peace becomes an act of wisdom, an inner strength, and a refusal to let external events dictate our state of mind. This steadfast calm, this unshakable peace, becomes the true hallmark of resilience and self-mastery. Number 11. Focusing on meaningful relationships. Stoic philosophy invites us to reflect deeply on the relationships we invest in, emphasizing the importance of nurturing those that offer genuine value and meaning. It's not a directive to sever ties indiscriminately, but rather a call to consciously cultivate connections that genuinely enrich our lives and elevate our character. Stoicism, at its heart, views relationships not merely as social obligations, but as mutual journeys where we support each other in striving toward a life filled with wisdom, resilience, and inner tranquility. Meaningful relationships, especially those grounded in mutual growth, patience, and understanding, act as anchors for us in turbulent times. They offer us a safe space where we can exercise virtues that the Stoics highly prized: courage, patience, humility, and temperance. Such connections fortify us, offering encouragement when we waver, reminding us of our purpose, and guiding us back to the path of self-improvement. The Stoic thinker reminds us that relationships of substance are not transactional but deeply enriching, enhancing our capacity for compassion and understanding. To practice Stoic principles, we are encouraged to approach relationships with a sense of selective focus. The company we keep shapes us in profound ways, influencing our thoughts, actions, and even the type of individuals we become. By surrounding ourselves with those who inspire wisdom and self-restraint, we strengthen our ability to embody Stoic values in our lives. As Marcus Aurelius famously noted, the quality of one's life depends, in large part, on the quality of their relationships. Number 12. Cultivating balance and respect in dialogue. In every genuine conversation, there exists a rhythm, a natural give and take where both sides have the opportunity to listen and be heard. Stoicism teaches us that balance in interactions is a foundation for respectful and meaningful dialogue. It's not enough to speak, it's about speaking with awareness, ensuring that words add value and bring insight rather than simply filling space. This concept of balance lies at the core of Stoic wisdom. The aim is to treat communication as a shared space rather than a platform for one-sided expression. When we feel that our words are lost in the noise of others, it's tempting to withdraw. However, Stoicism encourages us to approach these moments with composure. Instead of retreating, we can gently steer the conversation back, asking questions or providing thoughtful insights that create mutual engagement. In this way, we foster a space where each participant feels recognized. Furthermore, respectful engagement is a practice of mutual dignity, where each party learns to appreciate the other's perspective. By embracing this Stoic approach, conversations become more than exchanges, they become opportunities for shared growth and understanding. Over time, cultivating this balance nurtures relationships rooted in mutual respect, allowing each voice to resonate fully without overpowering another. Number 13. The value of true connection in Stoic practice. Stoicism invites us to focus on what genuinely matters. At the heart of this ancient philosophy lies a profound respect for connections that transcend superficial interaction, bonds marked by authenticity, integrity, and a mutual dedication to personal and spiritual growth. A Stoic doesn't merely endure or withdraw, but actively seeks out connections that contribute to a meaningful life, valuing relationships that support mental and emotional resilience. The Stoic approach to relationships emphasizes quality over quantity. It challenges us to invest in those rare bonds where each person sincerely cares about the other's well-being, not just their own. This means nurturing relationships where growth is reciprocal and consistent. A kind of connection that encourages both individuals to improve, building a foundation of shared respect and growth. Stoic wisdom doesn't tolerate relationships that drain or distract. It values interactions that fuel clarity, balance, and self-mastery. In practicing this, Stoics aim to keep their social world intentional and fulfilling. They cultivate bonds that endure the tests of time and circumstance, sustained by mutual respect, and the shared pursuit of wisdom. When we engage in such meaningful connections, they serve as both a refuge and a resource, anchoring us in our pursuit of virtue and resilience. Rather than scattering our energy across numerous shallow connections, Stoicism teaches us to nurture the few relationships that deepen our lives and strengthen our character. Such relationships represent a valuable investment of time and spirit. By choosing to engage meaningfully, the Stoic creates a support system that enhances personal growth and encourages a life of virtue. Number 14. Respecting yourself and embracing calm amidst disrespect. In the landscape of Stoic philosophy, where self-mastery and resilience shape the foundation, there is a vital principle that often goes unspoken yet holds great power: the preservation of self-respect. Navigating relationships that lack mutual respect can be a true test of one's character, challenging our patience, tolerance, and even our values. But here lies an essential truth rooted in Stoicism: maintaining one's self-worth does not require hostility or aggression, only steadfastness and a calm, unyielding presence. When faced with continuous disrespect, the Stoic way advises not a hasty reaction but a measured one. The Stoic does not seek external validation; their worth is self-contained. Aware of this, the Stoic stands firm not out of pride but from an intrinsic respect for the self that aligns with reason and virtue. This approach, acting without a hint of malice but with an enduring tranquility, becomes a shield against insult. Rather than mirroring the disrespect, Stoics act as a mirror of their own values, revealing dignity and calm regardless of external turbulence. Imagine a craftsman holding an unbreakable object. No matter how many attempts are made to shatter it, it remains intact. Similarly, a person who commits to self-respect and calm through the Stoic path builds resilience so strong that it cannot be fractured by another's disregard. This doesn't imply passivity or acceptance of mistreatment, but rather an unwavering commitment to one's principles. The Stoic realizes that respect from others cannot be controlled, but that their response to disrespect can be. In navigating these dynamics, the Stoic is neither silent nor loud, but wise and firm. They might choose to address the issue directly yet calmly, articulating their boundaries without aggression. This action is neither defensive nor combative; it's an expression of inner strength. Stoicism teaches that we are the guardians of our dignity, choosing to interact with those who honor our principles, or, when needed, to step back quietly from situations that do not reflect mutual respect. In a world that often reacts impulsively, adopting this tempered, measured approach serves as a profound reminder: self-respect is not a gift given by others, but a discipline, a conscious decision to honor oneself while embracing the peace that comes with it. This way, the Stoic transcends petty offenses, finding freedom in calmness and strength in an unshakable sense of worth.